Good afternoon and good morning to those of you joining us from the West Coast and everywhere in between. Thank you for spending your time with us today. While we wait for others to pop into the webinar, please enjoy this brief video that highlights a bit of our research here at Wayne State University, and feel free to post in the chat to everyone. Let us know where you're from, where you're joining us from.
New government data shows life expectancy in the U.S. has reached the lowest level since 2003.
Every year, roughly 15 million babies are born prematurely.
Could lead to the end of the human race as we know it.
Smart mobility really refers to a category of technology solutions that make transportation safer and easier for customers.
How will we address the most urgent challenges facing our world? Questions like this have fueled Wayne State University faculty, researchers, and students for more than 150 years. They're what led us to life-saving breakthroughs like the mechanical heart, the world's first treatment for HIV and AIDS, and dramatic reductions in preterm birth. And they'll guide us as we work with partners in industry, academia, nonprofits, and government to expand our understanding and take on research's grand challenges. We believe in research and innovation to acquire reasoning and guide us to discovery. And if science begins with the simple act of asking a question, here's ours. What better time than now? Who better than us? And where else but right here? At Wayne State, we're addressing the world's most urgent challenges. It's a commitment we made long ago for the betterment of our local and global communities.
All right, thank you so much for being here with us. Welcome once again. It's so fun to see all the places you're joining us from in the chat. I'm seeing places in Michigan, across the United States. I'm seeing countries near and far. So thank you so much for joining us. I can only imagine what time it is for some of you. So again, we welcome you to this webinar and are excited to have you with us today. So about us, first and foremost, we have a full program for you with some of our research experts and incredible students who are ready to share some information about what kinds of opportunities exist for Warrior M.D.s to get involved in research. Before we begin, some housekeeping items and notes. Please note that microphones and cameras will automatically be disabled today for you. So put any questions or comments you have in the chat. Please note, make sure you are choosing the everyone drop down so that all of our panelists and everyone within the chat can see your questions and responses to those. We also have some great questions from you already that we'll try to get to the Q&A portion of this webinar. So pending time on that, we'll get to those. And then additionally, please note that this webinar is part of a series of webinars by the Office of Admissions. Should you wish to learn more about curriculum, clerkships, student engagement opportunities, application tips, and more, please visit med.wayne.edu/admissions. To view our recent webinars on each of those individual topics, you can find those at the bottom of our site in the YouTube link there. So now before we begin the program, I want to be sure to introduce Dr. Harold, our Associate Dean of Admissions, to provide a short welcome. Dr. Harold.
Hi, good afternoon or good morning, again, like wherever you were coming from. Welcome to Wayne State University School of Medicine in this webinar series on our research opportunities at our school. As you know, the pioneering research and innovative technology are part of our mission statement because we truly believe that preparing physicians and biomedical scientific leaders really will help improve outcomes and wellness for our society. So again, welcome to Wayne State School of Medicine. Enjoy this webinar series, and hopefully we'll see you one day here on campus.
Thank you, Dr. Harold. As many of you already know, we've been around nearly 160 years now in the heart of Detroit. We provide a hands-on clinical experience for our students from day one, and we're a top-ranked Carnegie research institution known for innovation and leadership. So from a more global perspective, Wayne State University School of Medicine is one of 13 schools and colleges at Wayne State University. A 14th school, the School of Public Health, has already launched programs and is expected to gain full accreditation in 2028. That said, all of the schools and colleges at Wayne State University are driven by the belief that knowledge can change the world. And as society becomes increasingly complex with challenges and health disparities, climate change, AI, ethics, mobility, we're uniquely positioned to lead. Our faculty, researchers, students, and partners work across disciplines to ask the right questions and deliver real-world solutions that elevate human potential and create a more prosperous, sustainable, and equitable future. So our research enterprise, as you can see from this kind of global Wayne State slide, is extensive and impactful, and our School of Medicine researchers play a large, leading, pivotal role in that. Historically speaking, some of our research achievements, some of which were noted in that short video that was placed on the front end of this webinar, were the birthplace of AZT, the first FDA-approved drug to treat AIDS. We're home to the first use of a mechanical heart pump in open heart surgery. Our docs first discovered a cost-effective way to screen expectant mothers for a risk for preterm birth and a method to reduce the risk by 40%. More than 60% of our students participate in research in some way or another, and approximately about 90% of applicants on average have research and lab experience upon application to the Warrior M.D. program. So we have a lot of additional research news and headlines that we may try and get to at the end of this webinar if there is time, but we want to prioritize, of course, the wonderful speakers that we have today. So without further ado, today we are thrilled to be joined by Dr. Joseph Dunbar, Professor and William Tradell Endowed Chair of Physiology, Co-Director of Medical Student Research Innovation, and former longtime Admissions Committee member, and Dr. Noreen Rossi, Professor of Physiology and Co-Director of Medical Student Research. Doctors Dunbar and Rossi will share how Warrior M.D. students interested in research are able to plug in and gain experiences in a wide array of different pathways. Doctors Dunbar and Rossi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I would like to describe to you our opportunities for research at Wayne State School of Medicine. Research at Wayne State, we've expanded it to include other areas of scholarly work. So therefore, by our definition of research is that it is research and scholarly activities. The unique aspect of our research program is that it is a longitudinal program that runs along with the regular curriculum in parallel with the regular curriculum. And this gives a number of advantages because in a particular scholarly research activity, the start and stop and when you are completed is not something that you can do on a very prescribed timetable. So to have a longitudinal program is very exciting, and it is also very effective in allowing students to get some things done. One of the major components of our research program is that it is a mentored program. So all of the students that are involved in research have to select and have a mentor, and it is the expectations of this mentor to guide the student through their scholarly work. So there are a number of activities that students can be involved in, but we expect that whatever it is, they should strive to have an in-depth study of this particular area, and not only have an in-depth study, but also be able to have an in-depth study of the background, which is associated with what you call a literature review, as well as how to analyze any existing data that they generate. And finally, from a definition point of view, our scholarly work requires the students to have something that they can show for their work and that is usually referred to as deliverables. And many of the deliverables include things like posters, presentations, papers, and other types of materials. So what is the purpose of our scholarly program? And the basic purpose is to foster academic enhancement, enhance students' academic skills and development, and also the research will give them an opportunity in many cases to explore careers. If, for example, if they want to have a career in a particular area, they can choose or select a mentor that can mentor their research in that area to be able to explore it. Another feature of our research program is that it is individualized. It is individualized to the student, and it is expected that if the student is self-directed, and this is along with the mentor, and they are able to set things such as expectations, goals, deliverables, and in a number of areas. But the individualization creates an opportunity for the students to really help control their research activities. Currently, we have research and scholarly work in the areas of basic science research, where students participate with basic science researchers or clinical research. Some of the educational scholarly work is in education. In many cases, students come into a medical school program and they see things that they may want to change, especially how some of the educational materials are delivered or how things could be improved. So we give students an opportunity to work in that area. Public health, where the students can work out in the community and other types of surrounding areas of Detroit. We have a robust program in women's health, and we also have a program in global health. With these particular areas, almost all of the students will be able to find something that they are interested in, and that they will be able to have an enthusiastic and enjoyable research experience. Now I would like to get back to one of the key ingredients for any students involved in research, and that is having a mentor. The students do not just develop a research problem and proceed. All of these students are expected to have a mentor, and so they start with identifying an excellent mentor in the area of their interest, and if possible, they spend some time with that mentor to see whether or not they are doing things that they would be interested in. Again, the mentor and the student are expected to develop an individualized plan of what the student's research will be and how it would proceed. And this gives the students an excellent opportunity for flexibility, because in our curriculum, since we do not have a set aside time exclusively for research, this flexibility will allow the student to work around various types of other class activities and other types of things such as exams, but they will be able to gain their research. And you say, well, is this good or bad? Well, we like to think it is good because it provides the students with a greater opportunity for self-directed learning, because in the future, all of your learning will not be that you will sit and someone would kind of tell you how to do it and how to proceed, but you will be self-directed. So this will give you an opportunity to develop in that particular area. So the scholarly concentration, we want to keep track of all the students that are involved in research. So it starts with the application, in that the student, along with the mentor, submits an application to the research department, and this application then will be looked at, and if there are some concerns, it goes back and communicate with the student and the mentor, and then they will get final approval. A lot of times students come in and they want to do research, but they just want to do what they want to do, and there's no record of it. And then toward the end, when they want to receive recognition for that research, that there's no record. And so therefore, the idea of registering and keeping track of what you're doing is extremely important. Part of this will also allow the Office of Research to understand when the start date is and what is the time expected completion, what types of activities that you're doing, such as in-house presentations. And finally, it will give us something that you will have to submit for your research accomplishments for your final evaluation for the program. So the scholarly concentration, again, there are a few other things that are usually associated with it, but not necessarily obligated. For many types of research, you need to have city training, and the training will help in understanding some of the pros and cons of research and the ethical concerns around various types of research. Almost all of the individuals that are involved will be expected to do a literature search, learn how to do data evaluation, how to do statistics, studies on research methods and design, and lastly, how to present your work and have a product so that you can have some evidence of what your accomplishments have been. And this product is, along with your mentor, is a permanent record of what you can do and what you've accomplished. And with that, I will let Dr. Rossi to talk about some of the things from a individualized basis.
Thank you, Dr. Dunbar, and thank you to everybody who's joined this. I've been looking at some of the questions that have been presented already before we even started by the participants, and I'm going to go more into the little bit of nuts and bolts because I think Dr. Dunbar gave a beautiful overview of the program. M1 students, the first-year students, can join at any time, okay, from the first day of class. Most of the time, though, it takes about 2-3 months for individuals to settle in and get to know some of the faculty, getting to know their way around. Although there may be individuals who've already been here and already know who they want to work with. And that is certainly available as well. The best way, there have been questions, there is an elective. There is no competition to be in the elective. You can either enroll for the elective or not enroll for the elective. That is separate from the concentration as a whole. That is a separate course that students do that are really interested in being a little bit more intense about their research. It is run right now by Dr. Thummel and Dr. Braun. But you don't have to be part of the elective in order to do scholarly work and research. Our office is the research office, Dr. Dunbar and I, with our very capable administrative assistant, Ginny Gilchrist, try our best to direct students, given their interests. If you let us know your interests, meet with me, email Dr. Dunbar. We try to negotiate where you may find a mentor. Finding a mentor can be probably the bigger hurdle than actually doing the scholarly work, because that's really key. Having somebody that can direct you, that you can work with, that will guide you, that understands your goals, not only the scholarly work, but that understands you and facilitates you in helping you achieve a product, something that you can be proud of, a finding, either whether it's in medical education, whether it's at the bench, or whether it's clinical work, community research. All of those are key. And so finding those people can sometimes be challenging, We do have a website, Forager One, that can assist with that, provided the faculty have enrolled in that. Their name may appear, but they don't. The faculty who are really interested in having students have enrolled, and you can email them. You can do a search by category, by topic, or you can do it by discipline, say endocrinology, OBGYN, surgery, that kind of thing. But as I said, our office is there to facilitate those kinds of relationships, because relationship is a big deal when you're doing research. Networking with other researchers, with other students, with your peers, colleagues, etc., with the research assistants, the technicians that are involved. Very important in doing it. We do not do, research is not done in isolation. It's done in a team. And that's something that we really try to endorse. Part of the research curriculum that Dr. Dunbar was talking about is in the regular curriculum, where the city program modules have to be done. Evidence-based medicine goes through the entire M1 and M2, year one and it's not a whole year. It's like 9 months each. So it goes through there as part of a class that's part of your curriculum as a physician to be in general, because regardless of whether you do or enroll in scholarly work, our job as physicians, and I am a physician, is to understand the literature. And so that is just as key as actually doing something. Having done something helps you understand it better. At least that's my bias, and I'll lay my bias out there right at the outset. One of the questions is, can students design their independent or interdisciplinary research projects? And yes, but you require, if you can, you still will require a mentor that is a VA faculty. There are regulatory reasons for that to occur, both for safety as well as monitoring and reporting. As everybody knows, we have increasing demands placed on everybody doing research to be accountable for what we do, to be ethical, and all of that kind of matter, so that we have to be able to track that as a university, because we are responsible to report that. And those things are becoming more difficult, and well, not necessarily more difficult, but more people are being more attentive to that from outside agencies. I just finished filling out some forms this morning for that reason. So somebody asked in the chat, I don't know if everybody saw that, whether we have AI. And as I mentioned, we have some of the leading AI experts here at Wayne. In fact, the book of the year for AI was actually written by one of our faculty, not in the School of Medicine, but I interface with Rob Reynolds on a regular basis every week. And I have incorporated AI in my research as well as in my classes. So yes, and that is an evolving story, as are the regulations for how AI can be used in research. As many of you may already know, you have to declare how you have used AI if you put it in a publication. We cannot use AI to review grants or things like that. Whether that changes, I mean, obviously there will be grants that will using AI to look at AI, and so you're going to have to, there are going to have to be changes in those regulations. If you can't use AI, but you're writing a grant about it, I think the government's going to have to change, or the funding agencies will be changing their rules. But we're gonna be keeping on top of that, and that's our job, Dr. Dunbar's and mine, as well as university officials, to make sure that we stay on top of what those are, so that we can advise you and your mentor as to how to negotiate these things ethically and responsibly. But it's certainly not going to go away, and it's going to be part of your lives. So we need to prepare you for the future, and that's what we're here for. Somebody asked, what are the scholarly concentrations? Dr. Dunbar, I think, already touched upon that. We have basic science, clinical science, medical education, research in education, that is, community, public health, and women's health, and global health. So there are opportunities. There's obviously overlap with some of those. And the other one was, do we support, obviously, if you're presenting at a national meeting and you're the main author on that abstract or poster or oral, we try to supplement your mentor's ability to support your travel and your things as best we can. I can't say we pay all of it, but we try to, we do have money set aside for just that purpose, because it is important. It's good on your CV when you apply for your residencies, to have that you have presented your data, etc. As to publications, people have asked whether those publications whether we have, how many students have published something by the end. Very hard to know, because sometimes publications take a while. And like, even for my own student, the publication came afterwards. Now, after she actually graduated, because you can't guarantee when those reviewers are going to get back to you. You can submit it, and that paper can be going around and around in discussion with the editors and stuff for months sometimes. So for a distinction in research, we do not require that students have a publication in print. That would be a lot to expect, especially since, as Dr. Dunbar mentioned, it's longitudinal. And so you may be finishing your project in your third year, and paper is written and you submit it in a fourth, and it might not get actually in print or online. But if we have documentation that you have submitted it and that the journal received it, that we have an editor saying, yes, we received your submission, you would be eligible for a distinction in research. Because we cannot predict what the outside agencies will do. If you do have a publication, that would be really nice. And we do have students who have that. I don't have the data exactly on how many, nor how many have of the people who have done the concentration. Not all students choose to do this. Those who do are usually really serious about it. And since in light of my time frame, if you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I will answer you, or you can contact Ms. The thing, and I will answer you if personally. Thank you.
Could I make a quick comment? We do fund about 40 or so fellowships a year for the students that are really serious about doing their concentration, and they submit an application, and we do in fact support some students and their opportunities for funding.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dunbar and Rossi. We greatly appreciate your time and knowledge and information and being here with us today. So it is now my pleasure to introduce a few Warrior M.D. students who have taken advantage of some of our research opportunities here. We're excited to have them on to share with you their thoughts and experiences thus far. So first up, we have Alexandra Stone. Alexandra?
Hi, everyone. I go by Allie. I'm a third-year medical student here at Wayne. I'm from Los Angeles. I'm interested in OB-GYN, and I knew that going into medical school, so I was able to center most of my research experience around OB-GYN. So I started research October of M1, so that was like the start of our second block. And I joined a lab. We have a research center called the Mott Center for Human Growth and Development, and that's where a lot of the basic science related to women's health and fertility is conducted. And so I joined a lab through this research center, and I've been with them all of medical school. And we mostly do translational research. So we have a lot of basic science data related to female fertility, and now we're connecting that to what we'll see in like clinical scenarios. So how would exposure to different environmental toxins affect female fertility in the long term? And so I've written papers and posters related to that. We recently started doing research on endometriosis. So right now we're looking into the mechanisms of cardiovascular dysfunction in endometriosis. And in addition to this research, since I'm a third year, like in clinicals, I have the opportunity to do case reports on my rotations. And I also recently joined a neuroscience lab that does a lot of cannabis research, and I think it's new at Wayne. But they do a lot of research with the VA, a lot of research related to cannabis use in pregnancy, trauma and cannabis use, trauma in pediatric populations. And so that's a good opportunity to look into if anyone's interested in neuroscience and neurodevelopment.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. Appreciate it. And Alexandra is, of course, here, hopefully for a few more at least to help answer any questions. Certainly understand if your timing does not allow that, but thank you so much. Next up, we have Haley Hartman, and Haley has some slides.
Hi, everybody. My name's Haley Hartman, and I'm in the Global Health Scholarly Concentration. So you can go ahead and go to the next one. So my background, I went to USF for undergrad. I'm currently an M2. And I kind of always knew that I wanted to do some sort of global public health type of research, and that's something that I really want to continue on like into my career as well. So I went on many study abroad, volunteer and medical mission trips, which really opened my eyes to global health. So I knew I wanted to find something at Wayne that would kind of continue that journey for me. You can go ahead to the next one. So the first thing I did when I got to Wayne State was I applied to the World Health Scholar, or the, I lost the screen. Hold on. There we go. The World Health Student Organization. I was on the board for it. I'm currently the Global Experience Chair. So we went on a trip to Mexico, which was super awesome. We got the opportunity to learn about a healthcare system in Mexico. We got to shadow, do traditional medicine and healing practices, which were really cool. So these are some pictures from our group that went, and that was back in June. So it was a week-long trip. And you can go on to the next one. So the professor that's in charge of that, her name is Dr. Christina Kaufman. She also is in charge of the Global Health Scholarly Concentration. So that's kind of how I got introduced to this. So this is a longitudinal 4-year experience that is integrated into the medical curriculum, which is really nice because they know when we have class, so things are put on after. It doesn't really interfere too much with our schedules at all. So the purpose is formal training in global health, which is focused on underserved and vulnerable populations. So the goal is to foster medical competencies that enhance education in global public health through training and research. And through this, in the 4 years, you will be doing a capstone project, which most people start their 3rd and 4th year. So I haven't started that yet since I'm a 2nd year, but that will be happening very soon. Go on to the next one. So these are just some of the goals that I put of the program off to the left here. And then so the timeline, so the latest application, which I believe is the deadline for almost all of the scholarly concentrations that we talked about so far, is September of M2 year, or some of them I think are January. So you have like a long time to kind of see what's available, get involved with that before you declare your scholarly concentration. And then throughout the 1st and 2nd year, we do like speaker series every month, which is really cool. We get the chance to like research anything that we're interested in globally, and then we present it to the rest of the group that's available. And this really just helps open our eyes to the different types of research that we can focus on before we start our capstone project. We also have some city courses that we do. We talked about that, and some other coursework just for global competencies, which is all to be completed before your M3 year. And then we start our GLUE program, so I'll talk about that a little bit more on the next slide. And we begin our capstone work, which Dr. Rossi also talked about. There's a really good, I think it's new, the Forager one, database, which has all of the different researchers that are accepting medical students, which is great. I mean, anything from women's health to global health, and you can kind of interchange these things, find researchers that have like multiple interests that you're interested in to kind of put things together. So I've been using that just to see what's available out there, what kind of research I can join, or maybe what mentors can help me start my own project. And then we can go on to the next one. Okay. So then year 3 and 4. So year 3, you're going to be pretty busy just with your affiliated hospital clerkships. But you also have the option to do a public health or international elective, which are 2 to 4 weeks in duration. And then year 4, you have your elective clinical rotations, which will also be done at Wayne State. So just emergency medicine, but you can also do some optional 1 to 3 month international experiences, which I'm pretty excited about. I definitely want to do some of those. So Wayne State has some established programs with CFHI, which is the program that we used for our trip that we did to Mexico a few months back. They were great, absolutely amazing, super knowledgeable, super just helpful for us to get in and get established there. And then year 4, by graduation, you'll complete your capstone project. And then there's a few other optional things like the 5-year MBA or MPH program, which I'm personally not doing, but there are some people in the scholarly concentration that are doing that as well. And overall, I think just the benefit of that is you're with all of these people that are in the same year as you, as well as years above you, to kind of put you together, networking like we talked about with people that have the same interest in global health, public health, things like that, which has been really helpful. And that's it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And next up, we have Erica Krzeski. Erica?
Hi, my name's Erica Krzeski, and you can go to the next slide. Okay. So I'm currently an M2. Some things that I'm involved with at Wayne State, which I know we had a lot of questions about how many extracurriculars you can be involved in. So I'm currently the Detroit versus Addiction Vice President. I also, this past year, was the fundraising coordinator for our student-run free clinic. And then what I'll be talking about today is that I am a member of Dr. Shane Perine's lab. Some background about me, I went to Miami of Ohio for undergrad. And while I was at Miami, I did do some light research. It taught me the basics about research, but honestly, I didn't feel super confident in my research abilities before coming to Wayne State. And so that's kind of where the research elective that we have kind of comes into play here, and it really increased my confidence in research. So we can go to the next slide. So just a little bit about the M1 research elective. I know we've already touched on this a lot, but you apply in your first block of M1. So this is right around September. You apply, but everyone gets in. And then you start in the second block of M1. So basically you get guaranteed research. You have the opportunity in our second block, so right around October, November timeframe, to meet with 60 plus different research mentors. You meet with them on Zoom. You get to learn all about their research, their labs. So I'm really interested in neurology, and so I met with a lot of neurology and psych lab mentors. And after meeting with various mentors, you can choose who you would like to work with. So I was really interested in 2 different mentors, one of them being Dr. Perrine. I emailed him and set up a meeting with him, and from there we started working together. Additionally, in the research elective, you also have some minor required assignments, such as like literature reviews and journal clubs. And this just kind of gets the ball rolling with research, teaches you everything that you might need to know to work with your mentor. And then from there, the experience is totally what you make of it. So if you realize that you just want to be done with the research elective after M1 and not continue in the lab or with your mentor, that's totally fine. You can end there, or you can continue the experience and work with your mentor all 4 years of medical school. So it's really what you make of it. The research elective is really just there to get you started and to get you connected with a mentor, which I found very helpful. And then on the next slide, here's just a little bit more about my experience. So before joining the lab, I met with Dr. Perrine. He found a place for me in the lab, which was great. We discussed my personal interests. And then this past year during M1 and the beginning of M2, I worked with multiple different team members in the lab. We conducted data analysis. I attended weekly research meetings, and then I did have the opportunity to present at a statewide neurology conference, which does count as a publication. And then looking forward, I'm going to be following through with the publication of the research paper, and then I'll be staying in contact with the lab. I'll kind of have to take a step back during M3, but then I hope to be able to continue this experience during M4. And so that was just kind of the end of it. I think the going back one slide has my email in case anyone has any questions. But I found the research elective very helpful. And obviously I'm still involved with my lab today and I love it.
Thank you so much, Erica. Appreciate that. Skipped your email there. And then last we have Neha Iska. Neha.
Hi guys, my name's Neha. I'm an M3 at Wayne. And my research interests honestly span a lot of fields. I started off coming into med school thinking I for sure want to do psychiatry. I took a year off and I really only got like 2 poster presentations from this. But it was super great in the sense where I feel like I kind of gained a family from it that I'm still like in contact with today. And but when I came to med school, I didn't start research really until like the med ed elective, which was like really great for me. Dr. Buza, who runs the elective, is super passionate about medical education research. And honestly, we've like we're kind of working on like our 3rd manuscript now, and we have like so many posters. So it was like very productive. If you like medical education, I would like highly recommend it. And so after that, like I kind of started realizing that I like like procedures instead of just like psychiatry and like medical management. So I kind of got more into like dermatology, and like once I feel like I had like my academics like kind of under control, because like M1 is definitely a transition. About halfway through M1, I like reached out, just like cold emailed like the derm department at Wayne, and they're like super great, super friendly. They have like a whole derm mentorship program, and I actually got like 2 great mentors from this program. And Dr. Dave Louis is amazing. Like he has a really productive research lab. We meet like once a month, and we do a lot of research on like hydrantitis suppurativa, and even too just like quality improvement projects like for clinical dermatology. And that was like really helpful. I think like having a mentor is key, like, especially one that's like willing to bat for you. He's like really helped me out, put me on like a lot of projects. And also too, I think like just the people that work in the lab too. I think like, especially with like competitive specialties, sometimes it can be like, it's like you see people as competition, but I think it's like not good for mental health. And like also too, it's like these people will be your colleagues. So like maintaining like good relationships, I think is like really important. Like, I have like research like best friends, and we help each other out and it's great. So I guess like on top of that, I also like participated in like the Henry Ford like research thing. Like you kind of apply to it. I'm pretty sure everyone gets it too. Um and there's this like dermatology, like immunology cancer lab at Henry Ford, and they do a lot of like hydrantitis suppurativa research, taking samples from patients like all in the metro area. And so that's been a lot of like basic science work. But I think as we've talked about, like, I think connections and research is a lot of like very indicative of how much research you have. I think is often indicative of like your personal and like professional connections. So I think even though like my participation at Henry Ford Lab hasn't been like per se productive in terms of like manuscripts and posters, I've got to meet like some really great people who've introduced me to like some great fields in derm, and who've helped me out with projects, and I've gotten to help out with projects too. And then I'm trying to think. I have my hands in so many baskets, so it's like hard. But I think it's like really important for medical school research because like, basic science research like sometimes takes a while. And I think clinical research can have like a faster timeline. And I think at Wayne, there's a lot of opportunities to do clinical research, which is great, especially when we're applying to residency. Also too, there is this club that I'm a part of. It's called like Student Robert Frank Clinic. And at this clinic, we have like a derm day, and we also have general clinic for patients in Detroit who like don't have access to health insurance or are like in between health insurances. So everything's like completely free, but that club too, like we've done projects as well. kind of like quantifying the the cost that we've saved for patients in terms of like travel costs, like dermatologic procedures, and even too characterizing like chronic illness in Detroit populations as well. So, so I don't know, there's like a lot of opportunities at Wayne. I feel like it's not a question of like where or like if they exist. It's more so a question of like, are you willing to like, go out and, seek those opportunities? Like, even like, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I reached out to this ENT doctor, is like Dr. Lamont Jones. He does a lot of research with keloids, which I'm like super interested in. And I was just like, hey, I've never met this guy. I was like, hey, can I be part, And he was like, yeah, no, I was super busy, but just like reach back out in like a month. And I feel like, even my research here, I got by just like cold emailing. So I think there are a lot of programs at Wayne, like in place to make sure that students get research in like a structured pathway. But also too, I think that the Wayne community and even just the community of like healthcare providers and researchers in Michigan are like super willing to help and like want to do so. So yeah, so if you guys like have any questions, like I can send my email in the chat or you guys can just like private message me, but always happy to talk about research.
Thank you so much, Neha. I'm seeing so many questions, so many responses in the chat. I want to get through a couple other of the slides here just briefly. This is kind of an overview slide. This QR code will take you to a lot of this information on our med.wayne.edu site. So if you miss this, just scan the code or search research scholarly concentrations on our med school site. But that slide is, again, just an overview of everything that everyone here has been talking about already. And then I wanted to briefly, very briefly, just show you a few headlines recently of some Warrior M.D.s. I know we're running out of time a little bit here, but always nice. In addition to all the wonderful things this group of students has done and published and presented and so on. We have a lot of other students doing so many things here at Wayne State, and we're very proud of them. Our student track, Hannah, won research accolades at a national conference. His team's working to find overlapping genes, so new therapies that target these genes can be developed by scientists and researchers, possibly leading to novel therapies for osteoarthritis and systemic sclerosis. So that's exciting there. Again, QR code for each story is on these slides. I know I'm going fast. We will aim to post this as soon as we can, this recording up on our webinar site as well, so you can look for it there if you are very intrigued and interested in reading more about any of these. This next one, our students Sanjana Kumar and Love Thacker are winners of the Wayne State University Illich School of Business Startup Technology Pitch Competition for fluoroscreen, a med innovation that would detect colon cancer earlier than current testing standards. So they're doing a lot of additional work on how to get that going here at Wayne State. And then here we had our 2025 Medical Student Research Symposium winners announced on this slide. This release, again, in the QR code, lists a whole host and wide array of additional students who also placed. There were so many, it was tough to get everything on one slide. So again, this year, students submitted 122 posters in basic science, clinical research, public health, community engagement, medical education, women's health, and business and medicine. And then here again, as our students were talking about medical education research, we also had students who were featured, their poster presentations, about 76 of them, across themes such as curriculum, assessment, professionalism, communication, global health, wellness, and resilience, tech, AI, and much more. And then this was the last one we just wanted to include. We're very excited. Wayne State School of Medicine proper is excited to welcome a new building soon in 2028, pending all goes well with construction. But it's going to be a $200 million health sciences research building that's going to unite experts across the campus and university, focused on biomedical research, oncology, neurosciences, and much more there. So we're very excited about that. And then, of course, we have so many departments, we have so many centers and institutes, so that we didn't begin to discuss or talk about, but certainly we have a vast amount of research happening within any and all of these. And so I know we don't have a ton of time, but I'm going to pivot over to our Q&A document. I know you've all been answering some questions in the chat. I appreciate all of our panelists and experts doing so throughout. This has been a very, very active and engaged webinar, so we really appreciate that. Let's talk about our research opportunities available amongst hospital partnerships. Or is it required to have a Wayne State professor or mentor work with students? Dr. Rossi, are you able to answer that?
Yeah, I actually put something in the chat on that yes, well, we do have a lot of interaction with Henry Ford Hospital. I think also some interaction with faculty at Corewell Health, which used to be Beaumont. Many of our mentors, the ones that are really into the research aspect of it, have collaborations with people at other universities even. So there is institution, it's trans school. For example, my own research, I don't interact with anybody outside the university, but I have my own grants actually include people from the School of Allied Health, which is pharmacy, mortuary science, and pharmaceutical science, and physical therapy, that school, as well as main campus with the School of Liberal Arts, because they have psychology there, and my statistician comes from that school. So yes, we have, the mentors have a lot of interactions with many different schools, colleges, and other institutions. I've collaborated with people at Henry Ford in the past, as well as other institutions, and many of the mentors follow suit. As I said before, research is no longer a single person doing anything. You have to do a team, and the teams may be very far stretching.
Thank you very much. Just a general question. I think I've seen a few of these questions related to the competitive nature of getting into research at Wayne State. Can anyone speak to, is it competitive? Are certain areas seemingly more competitive? Is biomedical research a competitive area?
I don't think it's that competitive to find research at Wayne because there's so many opportunities, and every lab that I've spoken to, like, they're willing to take as many students as possible because you're also helping them, you're giving them extra support on their projects. But I guess if there's like a very niche area that you want to do research, I think that would be the only competitive thing. It just might be hard to find a position in a lab like that, but there are definitely so many opportunities. It was very easy for me to find a lab. I was very surprised by how easy it was.
Did anyone else want to comment as well on that?
I can speak on this a little. I don't think it's necessary competitive. It obviously is what you want to do though. So I do know that there are certain labs and maybe slightly more competitive fields, like take orthopedic surgery, for example. I know there's a few labs that a lot of people are interested in, so those actually do have interview process. But for the most part, I would say it's very doable to find a lab and research in the area that you're interested. Obviously, if you have your heart set on one particular lab or one particular research mentor, that's not necessarily guaranteed. But if you want to do research, you will 100% be able to do research here.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yeah, I think you want to separate the research competitiveness from the residency competitiveness. Residencies in what I call the O's, ophthalmology and orthopedics, and then dermatology are very, and pathology are very competitive. That doesn't mean that research in that area, and those are the ones where research is really important if you want to get a competitive residency.
Thank you very much. Dr. Dunbar, can you speak a little bit to some questions about if students are interested in not only research, but then moving on and navigating startups and support for taking research to different kind of levels in that respect? be able to speak to any opportunities our students might have with regard to taking their research further by way of commercial.
It wasn't clear. You talk about,
Oh, sorry about that, Dr. Dunbar. Just wondering if you can give any advice or give any examples of what Wayne State has for students who are involved in research, who are interested in kind of pursuing commercializing or doing a startup with their research or going down that path.
oh, yes, okay. We have, that's at Wayne, not, and also associated with the medical school, we have established links of individuals that are interested in entrepreneurial type things, where if they do some research and they think they want to commercialize it, we have a program where they can work with some of the individuals in the commercialization area to help them and how to guide them through the process of looking at something from a commercialization point. This is our technology development and technology and area, and we did have a defined program in innovative technology and commercialization, but we moved that over to in collaboration with the main campus. But it can be done.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Dr. Dunbar. As we have just a couple minutes left, is there anything else anyone on this call, just with your experience at Wayne State in the research realm, that you want to impart by way of words of wisdom for those on this call who might be interested in attending Wayne State as students or research in general?
I think
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's important to remember that there's something for everyone at Wayne, and as an M1, like just take your time trying to figure out, like if you do end up going here, don't feel rushed to jump right into research. Like you have time, you have all 4 years to get as involved as you want. And so focus on just adjusting to the change and figuring out what you're interested in and get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because sometimes like I've joined a lab and I have no background in it, but it's nice to be challenged to get the skills to learn how to do these things, especially now I can do a lot of my research independently because I've just built that trust with my PIs. So just be patient, and there's something for everyone here.
Just to bump like what Ali was saying, like honestly, like academics are like super important, and I feel like, especially on one, it's like a tough transition. So I think like totally like holding off on research, like there's no like hurry or rush or anything like that. There's like an abundance of opportunities, and like you can always take a research year, but it's grades are a little harder to change.
Yeah, just a second. Both of those things. I feel like Wayne does a really good job of like when you can apply to certain things. So for the concentrations, you have like up until your second year to apply. But another really great thing is the boards. We have like over 120 student organizations, and you can get involved with those like November of your first year. And most of those have like a research position that you can get involved with, or the boards will just do research all together. And like, I think for a lot of people, that's kind of what opened the doors for research, and just, it's not like a huge commitment to join a board, and then you can kind of follow your path and like see where it takes you, if that means research and continuing down that road.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We appreciate your joining us today. Again, if you want to rewatch this webinar or check out some of those QR codes that I went very quickly through, we'll post this as soon as we can. That's at met.wayne.edu/admissions. If you scroll down to the footer, you'll check out our YouTube channel link and you'll be able to see our webinars there. Just want to thank again our panelists. Thank you so much, Drs. Dunbar, Dr. Rossi, and all of our wonderful students, Alexandra, Neha, Haley, Erica, for joining us today, Dr. Harold, and everyone on the back end doing all the things you do. We appreciate you. And should anyone have any additional questions about applicant status or anything, please feel free to email us at mdadmissions@wayne.edu. Thank you so much and have a great day.